G'day DIY Pool Legends, I'm Rowan Taylor, I'm the owner of Complete, and today we are going to be taking you through the Zodiac Cordless battery robot range. We've got the FR200, the 500, the 800, the 1000 and the 2000. We're going to go through them all. We're going to talk about battery performance, we're talking about the key differences between these robots and some of the other robots out there, and all the pros and cons of each model. All right, let's jump in and start talking about the key things with these new robots. Now, the main thing is they're cordless, which is absolutely brilliant. Makes it so much easier to use. I use a cordless robot in my pool. I use the FR2000. The FR stands for Freerider, and I love it. They're so easy to use. But the big question we get, and it's the obvious question, is, well, if it runs off a battery, then how long does the battery last, and what happens when I need to replace the battery? Can I replace the battery? And that's actually a really, really good question, because on some of the models out there, your Aipers and your like, you actually can't replace anything on the robots. So when the battery runs out or a part breaks on it, then you've got to replace the whole unit. I'll talk about that in a moment. But with the Zodiacs, every single part on these robots is replaceable, including the battery. But before we talk about replacing something, how long is it actually going to last before we get to that situation? This is the FR200. This is the junior burger in the range. It's the smallest unit, so it's got the smallest battery. Now, this is designed to last for 165 cycles without any performance loss of the battery. So if you're doing a clean once a week, that includes all the way through winter, then you're getting 3 years from the battery before performance loss. And when we say performance loss, it's no different to an iPhone battery. So I'm still rolling around with an iPhone 12, and when I checked this morning, even though the thing's years and years old, then I've still got 86% of the battery life left on my phone. And so it'll be the same with these. And when it comes to replacing it, it's very easy to do, and cost-wise, as we're recording this in 2025, replacement battery for the FR200 is $399. That's not so bad if you're getting 4 or 5 years and then you have to replace your battery. I think it's good value, but that's up to you to decide. Then when we go up to the bigger models, this is the FR500 and 800. It's the same chassis, just with some different features. Bigger battery, designed for 400 cycles without performance loss, which means if you're doing a weekly clean, that's 7 years. Wow. So if you want to replace the battery, then it's $499. And then if we go up to the FR1000 and 2000, which I don't have on the table at the moment, but I will do, then it's a bigger battery again, and that's designed for 500 cycles without performance loss. So that means if you're cleaning your pool twice a week, you've got 5 years before this battery should see any performance loss. So that's what I love about these robots. The battery life on them is potentially excellent, absolutely excellent. You shouldn't need to worry about it. Okay, now there's loads and loads of robots on the market now. So Aiper is everywhere. You've got Madimack have now decided to start introducing robots for the first time. What's the key differences and what's the big plus when it comes to, say, the Zodiac? If we put them head to head on price, let's say the FR200, it's pretty much the same price as the entry model Aiper, but as I touched on before, every single part in this unit is replaceable. Whereas with the Aiper, when it's under warranty, then if there's a problem with it, something as simple as, let's say on the back of the Aipers, it's a little bit different to this, the contact points for the charger, let's say they corrode and they stop working, it's probably a $5 part, then you have to box up your robot and you have to send it back. If you are 2 years and 1 day, and pretty much all the robots out there that are cordless have a 2-year warranty, 2 years and 1 day, that corrosion occurs, that $5 part, then it can't be replaced. You have to go out and spend another $1,000 buying a whole new robot. Whereas with the Zodiacs, When they're under warranty, it's an in-field warranty, which means they will come to you, they will look at your robot, they'll replace whatever part needs to be done, and away you go. And then when you're outside of warranty, then you can replace the parts, battery, charging points, you can order those parts, you can swap them over, or you can have your local pool shop do it for you, and you're gonna get years and years and years out of your battery and your robot without having to replace the entire unit, which is a win for your back pocket, and it's a win for the environment, because the number of Aiper robots, and I'm mentioning Aiper just because they're front of mind and they're everywhere at the moment. It doesn't mean that they're a bad robot, but there's certainly a lot of warranty claims, and there's a whole mountain, a graveyard of these robots. And I just think from an environmental perspective, that's not ideal. Now, the other thing I want to point out about these robots is the whole range is designed with outdoor charging ports. This is the FR500 and the 800. You've got contact points, but they're outdoor rated. Whereas on most of the other models, you'll see it's just a straight metal on metal contact point. You're running electricity through a surface that's got salty water on it, which salt and metal, then they corrode. And so that's one of the big issues that we're hearing about with some of the other models, is that corrosion on the charging point. Under warranty, no problem, but as we touched on, well, what happens when you're out of warranty? Okay, so let's talk about each individual model, and let's talk about the pros and cons, because yeah, okay, these are a great robot, but there's lots of other great robots out there, and they do have some shortcomings. So I'm going to run you through each model, what they cost, what I think the shortcomings are, and what I think the advantages are on each one. So that way you can make an informed decision about what is the best robot for your pool. All right, so this bad boy is the Freerider 200, or the FR200. So it is the smallest one in the range. It's their entry-level robot. It's incredibly well priced at $999. Let's talk about what we like about it and some of the things that we don't. Okay, so first up, it's small, it's compact, it's very light. Anyone is going to be able to use this robot. So it is limited though to pools that are 8 by 4 meters in size. So if you've got a 9 meter pool, or you've got an 8 by 5 meter pool, then this robot isn't going to work for you. We need to go up to the next level. Now, it's an entry level, so it's got one cleaning cycle, which is the floor and the walls. So it's not going to go all the way up and clean the water line like some of the other robots will do, and also what some of the other corded robots will do. So that's not the end of the world, but it would be nice if it did the water line. But for the price, you can't get everything. Okay, this is the filter container. Now this has got 150 micron mesh on it, which is about, you wouldn't want to go any bigger. You wouldn't want to have a micron rating that's bigger than that, because it's just not going to capture enough dirt. Now, the thing with this unit, it is very small and compact. It also means that the filter casket is also very small. It is only a 2-litre casket. So if you've got a pool that you're getting a lot of leaves or a lot of debris in, not so much dirt, but leaves, this might not do the trick. You might find this is filling up too much. So this is on the small side. But compared to the Aiper Scuba, which is the entry-level model, they charge about $1,100 for that, so about $100 difference. They actually have a bigger filter canister. It's a 3-litre, but it's 180 micron mesh, which I just don't think that's going to capture anywhere near enough. So that's your trade-off. Now, there's no app control on this at all, so it is completely manual, which means to turn it on, it's as simple as just pushing down the button on the back. That turns it on, and then you go and throw it into the pool, and it's going to take off. Okay, I'll turn it off so it's not erring at me. Now, to pull it out, it is completely manual. So what you get in the kit is one of these hooks. This just goes into your standard pole that you use with your pool, and when it's on the bottom of the pool, when it's finished its cycle, you're just going to hook it under here and you're going to pull it up. It only weighs 6 kilos. It's not very heavy to pull up, so anyone is going to be able to to pull it up. And then charging, you've got this charging port on the back, and you've got your charger. It's just a standard looking charger that just plugs in here, nice and easy. Takes about 4 hours. If it's absolutely dead flat, the battery will take about 4 hours or just under to charge up, but generally it's not going to be dead flat, so it's usually a lot quicker than that. So what we like about it, it's small, it's compact, it's really well priced, it does a great job cleaning. This charging port here gives me a lot of confidence that it's not going to corrode down the track as well. What we don't like about it is it's a bit small with the filter container, but outside of that, it's actually a pretty solid robot and well worth thinking about compared to, say, an entry-level corded robot, which is actually going to be more expensive than this. So the convenience is outstanding. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the 500 and the 800. I've got the 200 here just so you can see the difference in size, particularly the size of the brush and just the overall unit, just to start off. So let's get rid of that. So the 500, so as we can see, it's a lot bigger unit. It's designed for pools up to 10 by 5 meters, which is probably 80% of pool owners out there. This robot is going to do the job for you. So it does the floor and the walls, but unlike the 200, it also does the water line, which just saves that little bit of extra cleaning from time to time when you get that scum line around the water line of your pool. This robot will come up the walls and will sit there, and these brushes will give that a good scrub, which is a really good idea and does make a big difference. Okay, so into the filter, we've got a bigger filter canister. So this is 3 liters. So that's the next step up from the 2 liter on the FR200. That's a tick in my mind, especially if you do have more leaves or you've got a bigger pool. It's just going to have to pick up more dirt, which is where this one comes into its own. This bad boy is also controlled by an app. It's got the app notification. So what that basically means is when the job is finished, it will send a notification to your phone saying, hey, I've finished. I'm going to hang out at the water line for the next 10 minutes so you can come and pull me out, which makes it nice and easy. And then if you don't get there in that time, it says, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go back down and have a snooze on the bottom of the pool until you come and get me out. Now, it's got the same hook that came with the FR200, so you can manually pull it out, but this also has the tap and lift system. So it means that if you give this a tap a couple of times, it wakes it up and it will then drive across the floor, come up the wall, and will meet you at the water line. And the beauty about that, I'm just going to close this lid, is when the robot's in this position, all the water is draining out of the bottom, which just makes it that little bit lighter to take out. Now, being a bigger unit, this thing weighs 9 kilos, so pretty much most people are going to be able to carry that. For some, it is starting to get on the heavy side, so just make sure that you can actually do that, or you may need a system that's got a Caddy, which is one of the other models we're going to talk about, the FR2000, in a moment. Okay, now charging. So this has got a different charging point. So this is a full weather rated outdoor charging cable. And how that works is really easy. That just clips into there and you're done. This plugs into a normal power point and away you go. And you're just eliminating those issues where if water gets onto it, the corrosion that we've been talking about already. I really like this. This is really durable, and I don't think you're going to have too many problems with that part of the robot, say, compared to others. Bigger battery in it, so it does take from absolutely flat up to 5 hours to charge, but after it's done its cleaning cycle, then it's usually still got at least 30 or 40% left in its battery, so a couple of hours and usually it's charged up and it's ready to rumble one more time. Okay, price-wise, on the FR500, it's $1,799, so it's an $800 step up on the FR200. And then if we go to the FR800, it's exactly the same chassis, it's exactly the same unit, designed for the same size pools, but you get two extra things. You get an extra cleaning mode, so you get a floor only option. So if you just want to then give your pool a bit of a tidy up because you've got some leaves on the bottom, maybe you've got some people coming over, you just want to give it a quick spruce up without the full clean, and you whack it on floor cleaning mode, which you can do through the app or just using this control on the back, and it will then do your floor, so it's a much quicker clean. So basically from a battery life perspective, you're not using as much battery each time, so you get longevity out of your battery and all your other working parts as well, so you're not wearing out your tracks and your other bits and pieces in the robot. So I think that's a win. And then the other thing that we do with the FR800 is we go up to dual stage filtration. So you've still got the 100 micron filter basket here, it's still the same size, but over the top of that goes this extra filter, which is a 60 micron. So where we were talking before about taking the load off your cleaner, your filtration system, this gets that really fine dirt. So you know, often you can clean your pool and then the next morning you're like, wait, why is all this dirt back on the bottom of my pool? It's because it's starting to get so fine that your filtration system isn't actually taking it out. So this will actually solve that. Okay, cost-wise, this is $2,199. So basically you're paying an extra $400 to pick up the dual stage filtration and the extra cleaning mode. I think these are great units. I think they're really well priced. The 500 is the same price as what used to be charged for the entry-level corded robot. So I think you're getting a lot more function for the same price as what you used to pay for a corded robot. An extra $400 to go up to dual stage filtration and the floor cleaning mode. I would have liked to have seen that a bit cheaper. I think it's a little bit too much. If your pool needs it, then there's value there for you. If it doesn't need those extra features, you don't see yourself using them, then stick with the FR500 and you can save yourself your $400. Outside of that, I don't think there's too many other things that I would point out about this. I think it's a fantastic unit. The equivalent model in the Aiper range is the FS1 Pro, which that retails for $1,799. That's got basically the same features, but it's got a 5-litre filtered canister. 5 litres, the biggest one that I've ever used is 4 litres and it's never been full. So I don't think 5 litres really gets you much. But what it does have is this external dual stage filtration is a 3 micron mesh, which that is incredibly fine. So that's going to take everything out of your pool. So I do like that. And at $1,800, it's pretty good value. As I've touched on before, all of the robots out there do a pretty good job. It comes down to the little idiosyncrasies. Again, with the Aipers, the not being serviceable and no replaceable parts, then that's the big question mark again. So that's your comparison on your 500 and the 800. Now we're going to go to the top of the range, which is the Freerider 1000 and the Freerider 2000. All right, let's talk about the Freerider 1000 and the 2000. It's the top end of the Freerider range. Now, the 200, the 500, and the 800 have all been introduced in 2025. This one has been on the market for a couple of years. So, this is the 800. Just showing you side by side. So you can see this one's a bit bigger again, but not hugely. They both weigh 9 kilos, so you've got the same weight. Let's talk about the key differences then. Okay, so key differences. First one you'll see is the Helix brushes. So this is painted to Zodiac and it just picks up more dirt, and you've also got your split here, so you can run part of this brush, we can run forwards, it can run backwards. That is then part of when it's turning itself around, it can turn in a tighter circle. It's got extra motors in it. which allows it to clean more efficiently and turn into tighter spaces. And being bigger with a bigger battery, it is also designed for pools up to 12 meters by 6 meters. So this is the Prima Vista top end version of the range. Okay, next one is you've got 4 cleaning modes in this bad boy. Same as with the 2000 as well. So you've got a floor cleaning mode, you've got your floor, wall, and waterline mode. And then the last one is the smart mode. Now, you operate that through your app, and when you toss it into the pool on smart mode, it will use the first couple of cleans it does to learn the shape of your pool and work out the most effective and efficient way to clean your pool. So in other words, shorter cleaning time, longer life on your battery. So it's a clever little addition. Once we come inside, we've now got a 4-litre filter container, and it is your dual stage. Then this 4 litres is as big as you're ever going to need. Okay, so the next big difference is how you actually charge this up. And so now this comes with a charging cradle. Now, this one looks a little bit bashed up because this is actually my charging cradle from my FR2000 model. But how this works is you plug the cradle into a standard power point, and then once you've finished your clean, you just bring your robot back, you pop it on the top, and you walk away. It's so easy, and then when it's time to use it, you just lift it off and you just put it straight into the pool. That is, I think, a huge, huge plus. Outside of that, they're the key things. So price-wise for the FR1000 is $2,499. And really, there's not too much I don't like about this unit. It is the top end, so I've been using these top end ones now for a couple of years and I just love them. I can't find a particular fault with them, so I don't really have any more to say about that one. Okay, let's talk about the FR2000, and I'll point out a couple of differences in just a second. Okay, so this is the FR2000. It's exactly the same as the 1000 in terms of all of its modes and everything else. But there's a couple of key differences. You'll see this little thing sticking up here. This is a remote control receiver. And this is the remote control that you get with the FR2000. What does the remote control allow you to do? You can turn it on, you can turn it off. You can also control where the robot goes if it's missed a bit. I've never seen it really miss too many bits, but you can do that. But I think what the biggest advantage is you've got the lift system button. So rather than having to tap it or hook it, you just point this at the pool, you press your lift system button, and it will crawl up the wall and you can take it straight out of your pool. So that's pretty handy. And then the other piece that comes with it, you're probably wondering, what is this? Well, this is the charging cradle that we had before, but now you've got a caddy. Okay, so this is your caddy, and basically, if you want to, you can then wheel this in and out. You have to unplug your charging cradle when you want to do that, but if lifting this robot, say it's 9 kilos, so it's not ultra light, but most people can lift it. But if that's a worry for you, then you've got the option of adding the caddy. Okay, so what does that cost us to go from the 1000 to the 2000? The 1000 was $2,499. The 2000 is $2,988. So $500 extra for a caddy and a remote. For me, I don't see the value in it, but if lifting the unit to and from your pool is a problem, this is going to be an absolute godsend for you. Okay, so there you have it. There are the benefits and all the different models that are under the Freerider range. It's the entire optional range now, whereas it was just these top-end models. You've now got entry level, you've got your mid-tier 500s and 800s, and then you've still got your top end. I think they're great value. I think they perform very, very well. Zodiac is very well known for their reliability with robots. They've been doing it for a very, very long time. What gets the Zodiac over the line in my mind, and why is it that we only offer the Zodiac robots? It's the in-field warranty. So if something does go wrong, then they come out to you during the warranty process. You're not having to box it up and send it back and then get a new one sent out if it's proven that it is a warranty issue. If it isn't a warranty issue, then they send it back, and then what happens? That in itself is worth a lot. The second part is the replaceable parts. The thought for me of spending $2,000 or $3,000 or even $1,000 for the FR200 and 2 years and 1 day, so 1 day after the warranty finishes, I need to replace a $10 part and I can't, and I've got to spend another $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 to buy the same robot again. That just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense at all. Whereas with this, now I've been using this particular model for 2 years. I haven't replaced a thing on it. However, if I do need to, I can. And that is what gets them over the line, because performance-wise, it's hard to pick between them. They all do a great job. Whether it's the Aiper or it's the Zodiacs, they all clean your pool really well. It's the longevity and it's the serviceability and the thought of, okay, what happens in 5 years, which I think is the biggest difference. Okay, I hope that really helped. Please send in your suggestions, like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us get the message out there, and good luck with your project, or good luck with cleaning your pool. Thanks, DIY Pool Legends. Talk to you next time.